Hi everybody, it is 1:45 a.m. and I'm finally doing my Percy Jackson reaction vlog. Went to see the movie today, and I will split this into two parts. The first part just being like how I felt about the movie in general, without just as itself, without any relation to the books. And then the second part is how I felt about how they developed the books into a screenplay and how that link worked. And how I felt sorry, I'm getting over a cold, so bear with me if I start choking in the middle of this video. Just the link between the movie and the books and how well that went. So, went to go see the movie today. I was very excited. We took pictures in front of the light-up cutout cardboard, so we're huge dorks. Me and my roommate went to go see it. And so, good things about the movie. The movie went very quickly. It was not one of those movies where I felt like it was a pain to sit through, where I was just like pissed off at the movie because it was just taking forever and I was like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. It moved very quickly. The action is just like right on top of each other. Definitely will keep a boy's attention, like a young kid's attention. So that was great. The special effects were really good. I enjoyed seeing the water and seeing the lightning bolt. I need some water, speaking of which. And just in general, the special effects were really amazing, so they definitely put a lot of money into it, obviously. And the actors did good with what they had. I mean, I don't have any complaints about... They brought in great actors, obviously, and Logan Lerman did a great job, I think, with the script that he had. Not that I can complain, because I still think that Logan Lerman is, like, the most attractive 18-year-old actor ever. Take it, Taylor Lautner. But, I would have paid money to watch him run around and kick ass, no matter what. But I felt like the script was really lacking. I just felt that the dialogue wasn't very well thought out. It was kind of clunky in some places. I had a problem with the pacing because sometimes it was going really fast. Sometimes it slowed down a little bit. I felt like it sped through things that should have been more explained. And, I mean, knowing that some people are going to go see this movie not having read the books, it makes the movie a little bit like Harry Potter, in that if you have not read the books, you are not going to understand some of the things that are happening in it, because the movie does not slow down to explain this world for you, so you just kind of have to go along for the ride. So overall, I would give the movie like a B-, because I enjoyed it. I'd probably go see it. I'd probably rent it again and watch it at like a Percy party or something. But it's not something I'm gonna go see again in theaters, and you know, it's not the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. A little bit underwhelming, but I enjoyed it. So, there's that. I'm doing good on time. Yeah, I already filmed this once and it was long, so I'm trying to cut down now. Okay, let's move on to the link between the book and the movie, because a lot of people, you know... First of all, let me just throw this out there. You need to go read the books, because they are always going to be 40 billion times better than the movie is. The books are still amazing. Rick Riordan is still my hero, and you just need to get out there and read them, and I don't think I can pimp them any more than I already have, so just throwing that out there, getting it out of the way. I feel the movie definitely deviated a lot from the books. In and of itself, deviating from a book is not something that I can complain about, because, I mean, I tried to see the movie as a separate thing. If you change stuff, I'm totally fine with it, as long as it makes the movie good, and I don't care. But some of the changes that they made did not, in fact, make the movie good. I really, really did not like their depiction of the underworld. I felt like they were doing a lot of syncretism, which, if you don't understand what that term means, it's like a meshing of different religious beliefs. They really tried to make the underworld look like hell. And they actually said at some point that the underworld, like when you die, everybody goes there to suffer and, burn and whatever. And I was like, okay, no, because the good people and the bad people go to the underworld. The good people go to Elysium, as my blog is named. And the bad people, go to Tartarus, and the middle people, go to the fields of, what are they called? Asphodel. So they were really trying to make it look like just one homogenous thing. And it really bothered me because I was like, okay, so you're saying that no matter what we do, we're all going to end up in that horrible looking burning pit thing? That really doesn't give me much incentive to be a good person, now does it? And I'm sure that's not a big part of the movie. It's not a big deal, but like, some fine tuning could have been great there. I thought that Grover was really funny. Let me just say that. He's played by Brandon T. Jackson. And they kind of, in the movie, they make him the typical black sidekick. I'm just gonna say that because he was. And they could have done a lot more with his character, and it was just a little bit typecast, to be honest. And I was like, people don't really have typical black sidekicks anymore. It's just not who Grover is, and frankly didn't add to the movie. They could have made Grover a different personality, but they made him comic relief because Percy apparently is not enough comic relief in and of itself. Annabeth is serious all the time. And so Grover has to be that wisecracking black sidekick. And I'm like, okay. They could have made the script funnier, and then they wouldn't need a wisecracking black sidekick, now would they? The plot holes are huge, but not necessarily because the movie puts them there, but because they don't explain the world as well as the books do. The plot holes are big enough to drive an SUV through if you look hard enough. You don't really even have to look. I mean, there are some parts where you're just like, hey, look, Poseidon is walking out of the ocean, and he is ginormous, and a fisherman is, like, watching him come out. And the fisherman's just like, oh, typical day in New York, Poseidon coming out of the ocean. Woo, he's, like, 100 feet tall. And I'm like, really? Because they don't ever explain the concept of mist, which, like, shields the mortals from seeing these things. They don't ever explain that concept, so then, like, the mortals just see everything, and it's just, like, normal, and I'm like, okay, you could have explained that, but I guess not. Other things they don't explain. That the big three made a pact not to have any more children. They totally leave that part out. They just say stuff like, Percy, it's very rare to have a child of the big three, and I'm like, yeah, it's rare. It's pretty rare because they have a pact, but let's just ignore that. I just didn't really enjoy... Okay, so the big things I had a problem with. Characterization of some of the characters. First and foremost, Percy, who's my favorite character, and I know that no movie adaptation, what am I saying? It's 1:45, forgive me, it is late. No movie adaptation is ever going to live up to my mental concept of Percy. But that being said, in the books, Percy is clearly not your typical squeaky clean hero. He's kind of a, kind of a badass, kind of a troublemaker. In class, he's that guy who's going to talk back to the teacher. He's the kid that teachers hate to have in class because he's a smart aleck. They take that aspect of him away in this movie. They make him a little bit more Harry Potter for you. He's the golden boy, the chosen one. A little bit more cocky than Harry, but not enough for you to really notice the difference. And I don't like that because Percy is supposed to be a different kind of hero. And I think they really could have emphasized that instead of making this a very, very typical teenage boy hero film.